This just into the Situation Room. Only moments ago, the Republican-led House of Representatives approved a resolution authorizing a lawsuit against President Obama. The final vote was 225 to 201. 5 Republicans voted against it. No Democrats voted for it. That just coming in. House Republicans want to go ahead and sue the president because of his actions on Obamacare.
Speaker, our system of government's in a bad place when one branch of government is compelled to sue another branch of government for failing to play its proper constitutional role. We shouldn't be in that situation, but we are. The president should have fulfilled his oath to faithfully execute the laws as written by Congress and signed by this president. Unfortunately, this lawsuit is necessary because the president has not implemented the law as passed and picked and to choose how he would have the law affect the American citizens. This resolution will help guarantee that the legislation passed by Congress, signed by the president is faithfully executed according to the rule of law and not according to the whim of one person, that being the President of the United States. Also, no president should be allowed to pick and choose which laws matter and which ones do not. It's unfortunate some members of Congress believe that this body should be irrelevant. It's unfortunate they believe that any president should be able to enforce the law or not enforce the law as that president chooses. The American people elect their member of Congress. They live under the laws that are written. They make their plans and follow through based upon what the laws are, and they live under these rule of laws, and they need to be able to count on it. When members of Congress believe that laws that we pass no longer matter, they're going to say that their belief in the American system comes under question. When we allow the president to single-handedly determine what the law is, the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the American people become irrelevant. That is why the president's system of unilateral governance cannot stand. It must be stopped, and even if it takes a lawsuit to do so, that's what we think the federal judiciary is there to do, to resolve differences based upon the law.